Welcome to the DeFi Standard. This is Patty XRP and
Mickey B. Fresh. And today we're going to dive into the new XFi platform on Songbird, built by FlareFinance. And we're going to go through the phase 1 and phase 2, which were just completed. And Patty and I spent hours in there participating, learning how to utilize the whole dApps and the different liquidity pools. We're going to dive into how to use the Canary Dollar. And we're also going to talk about signal provider delegation and the new epoch that has started. And then we're going to go into a look into Matthew Rosenden, who's the creator of Trustline, did a presentation at the RippleX Apex Summit for all the grants that they gave out. And that's going to be the first ever trustless gateway onto the XRP ledger to move assets from Flare onto the XRP ledger and a decentralized stablecoin.
awesome. So to start off here, Mickey, we're going to just kind of briefly describe what happened Wednesday evening and then going in today with the XFi platform, which will be rebranded to SongbirdFinance sometime in the second half of November. So with that, without really any warning beforehand, aside from a vague tweet, XFi was launched at around, I think, like 6 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, and they opened up the ability for people to take out collateralized debt positions within Flare loans. And to do that, you need a minimum 110% collateral. Also, they were requiring minimum 1,800 Canary dollars borrowed, which is a stable coin for Flare loans on Songbird. And with that, Mickey, there definitely was quite a few UI bugs. I know at one point when I was trying to do transactions, the interface for XFi was showing that my gas fees are like $100. But then when I clicked to do the transaction and sign for it, it was actually more like 10, 20 cents, somewhere in that range. So that was something they had to work through. They got that fixed. There were some, a lot of people getting in that maybe hadn't used a loans platform in DeFi before. So I could see that there was a lot of questions in their chat rooms and everything. Additionally, it was a little clunky, maybe not, the smoothest UI in the world. I do think it looks pretty good though. It's just some of the toggles and sliders were slow when I was using them. And
this is basically a real world live platform beta. That's what this is. So I think we should take it as it's basically the rollout. It's the first beta, but it's real, so that all the components aren't there yet. But I agree with you, Patty. There was some little clunkiness, but I think this is good because they're going to fix all those little things.
Yeah, and also, I just want to caution people too, if you heard people getting into XFi and all that stuff. Like so many people in their chat rooms were asking questions where I was like, I don't think you actually know like how any of this works yet. You're putting your money into it, which was pretty, I guess it's not shocking. Maybe I shouldn't be shocked about that, but they do say, especially when you open it up, it says you are using an experimental product suite on the Songbird Canary Network. Please be aware of the inherent risk involved. They put out a blog that said, don't put in more money than you're willing to lose. This is a semi-audited launch. And so with that, they were going to launch Flare Farm yesterday, and they decided to delay that. So they're fixing just a little quirks on Flare loans, and they will be kind of launching the rest of what they're going to do for XFi here in probably a couple days. I guess it could be today. We're just waiting for them to give a timeline on when that will start.
And I think that's important to know. They're adding the feature so that you could use wrapped Songbird in all of these Flare loans, Flare Farm, and FlareX. So regardless if you have regular Songbird or wrapped Songbird delegated, you're going to utilize that. That's one of the things that they didn't have up yesterday. So that's why everyone had to pull out of those CBPs, and they're adding that. So that's just a question that I've been getting a lot, and they took it seriously. So that's going to make things much easier. So
I don't understand why they didn't launch with that built in. That didn't really make sense to me. When they launched Wednesday with just normal Songbird, when they're pivoting already to going, basically it's going to be wrap Songbird in all
which
their
is,
smart contracts,
yeah,
which
it's
is
just
good. I'm
this.
glad they're doing that. I just don't understand why that wasn't done out the gate. So
So if anyone's curious, all that WSGB means is it's a smart contract wrapper over the Songbird token. The same token, one for one, you can always swap back and forth right in your Bifrost wallet. Now, Patty, one thing that I really did like about this whole thing is that the actual DApp domain address you put right in your Bifrost wallet, you bookmark it, and you literally do everything right from your Bifrost mobile wallet. You could do everything right there. You don't have to ever leave really the actual wallet itself. And then you switch between FlareX is one domain, and then Flare Loans is another one. And then within those, there's different tabs. So I like the layout of having everything all in one. You don't have to deal with these extensions and browsers if you don't want to. You don't have to switch to different screens, all within the Bifrost wallet in obviously that bookmark section. So you should bookmark probably all the different DeFi protocols and signal provider that they have. So there's going to be a total of 7. So it's just easy to go between them, which is just a nice feature. And other DeFi platforms don't really have that. You got to connect to the thing and then do it separate and connect your MetaMask. This I thought was really user-friendly in that way, Patty.
oh yeah, definitely. I enjoyed using the Bifrost wallet with the Flare Loans platform. Like I said, it was mainly clunky. I do like how they have things set up. Like I was able to tell what I wanted to do pretty easily. Granted, I've kind of used some different like DeFi platforms in the past, so I kind of have some prior knowledge to that. But so I mean, I like how the UI looks, and I've said that before from some of the demos they've done. It's just, the things weren't, moving around maybe as easily that are supposed to help you, but that's all stuff they're going to fix. I think like if it looks good and is readable is one of the more important things, which also on the mobile, there are some issues like if you provide liquidity with the numbers overlapping, but it's all stuff that can be fixed pretty easily. I was able to move in and out of the smart contracts pretty well. I did some swaps. I took out a CDP at one point and staked Canary dollars in the stability pool. Was able to earn a little DFLR for that. So, one of the things people may be asking is, all right, so this thing just launched. Like, why would I want to go in early? Well, they're having boosted rewards periods for like basically a liquidity rush style opening to the platform. So there's opportunity if you want to go in early and take those risks around, things not working or the market being very early for Songbird tokens and being volatile. Also, like the liquidity was pretty low, so sometimes I couldn't swap the full amount that I wanted to in the past couple of days. So like all those things are people should, you should take those into account. It's very early. Like let's say if you're in a CDP once they relaunch the loans platform, and just so y'all know, like it's not decentralized fully yet or anything like that. That's how they're able to do this. It hasn't gone to the DAO point. So if that bothers you as well, you need to know that too. So I enjoyed using it. It got me excited for once they release the wrap Songbird portion of it, because I would like to provide some liquidity to the liquidity pool and then use those LP tokens in the Flare farm. Something else that may be helpful to people is when you let's say you get Canary dollars or some asset you haven't held before in your MetaMask or Bifrost wallet, you're going to have to go in and add a custom token address. You can find all those custom token addresses on the Songbird Explorer. They have a tokens tab where you can click on that. It'll show you all the different tokens and you can just copy the address and input it there. So that's another, good thing to know about, because I know some people like they were taking out Canary dollars from, Flare loans and they couldn't see it in their wallet. It's because they hadn't added the token in yet.
Now, just to
Yeah.
bring this up, there is, if you search the Bifrost list of tokens, there's something called canned, which looks like the Canary dollar, but it's not the right contract address. So you're going to need to do a custom one and then put it there. If you chose that one and you don't see your Canary dollars, it's because that's the wrong contract address. So it looks like it's an actual like C on it, but it's just the wrong contract address. So
I imagine they'll fix that. Yeah,
yes.
I imagine they'll probably fix that.
One other thing here, Patty, that was really nice to see the total value locked of Songbird. So between all those CDPs, they're calling nests. like a bird's nest, and that locks up Songbird. So I think there was a couple $1 million, million Songbird locked up, and that number's only going to keep increasing. So this is that DeFi component here, where now everyone, they're not just on exchanges or on wallets. They're locked now in smart contracts. Their value is being utilized, and we're minting these decentralized stablecoins, Canary Dollar, and then utilizing those in liquidity pools. And this is just that, utility at work here, and it's locking up total value. And that's the one thing, the biggest thing that I saw was like, wow, look at how many millions of dollars and billions eventually are going to be locked up once we have all the other assets. Because right now, Patty, it's just Songbird on there. So we have literally just one asset and then Canary Dollar. So imagine when there's 15 different tokens, you got F assets, you got Y Flare, Y Fin, and then all the wrap tokens. It's going to be a massive ecosystem they're building. So this is like just the early stages right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, while the launch maybe was a bit hectic and messy, at least this is just XFi, and it's a good dry run prior to Flare Finance going live, probably in a month and a half to 2 months from now, Mickey. So I think it's good that the team got some practice there. And honestly, it had me excited just using the platform and all that stuff. But I think there's a lot more information to be learned on exactly all the mechanics and economics behind the Flare Loans platform, especially. So, I mean, I just more than anything want to caution people, if you see people rushing to do something, make sure you know what kind of risks are involved with the actions that you're taking. And also, if you get yourself into a position and you don't know how to get out of it, or you don't know how to move quick enough, to save yourself from something risky happening, like maybe getting liquidated, I would take a step back and just make sure you understand how to do all that stuff before putting your money at risk. So, yeah, that's pretty much all. Or go ahead.
Well, you would get liquidated when you hit 110%. And actually, if you're holding a lot of Canary Dollars, say somebody else is, they could liquidate you, and it pops up there and you could liquidate somebody. So basically you would earn that difference from 100% to whatever under 110%. So say 109%. So the most actual value that you could really lose is 10%. But remember, the price would probably be falling of that collateral. So the value would lose, but you would keep the Canary Dollars that you minted and that you borrowed against it. So you would then lose the Songbird, though, and then you would have to swap Canary Dollars back into Songbird. And now that's something you should practice with low value. And this is why we have a Canary network. And I think it's actually brilliant. I'm so happy that they did this for the community, because now we all have a chance to become really good at this and understand it in phases instead of it just being thrown out at us. And, the community, I think we have to realize it's not as simple as just, I'm going to take my Songbird and I'm going to stake it somewhere and then I'm going to earn a yield. That's not XFi and how DeFi is going to work. So it's going to take, some time, some effort, and some learning to be able to really see how best you can maximize your assets and put them to work to earn you value within DeFi. And instead of just having to sit there and hope the price of all these things go up.
Cool. Well, I think we can do a quick little walkthrough on the platform, Mickey, here. And let me take this banner down so you can see everything. So with this is what Flare Loans looks like. Currently, the nests
inside the Bifrost wallet.
Yeah, this is inside the Bifrost wallet. So I'm just showing it on my computer screen. And right here, basically, they'll say, you can create a nest, which is a collateralized debt position. Right now, we can't really walk through that, and we'll have tutorials in the future. It's just they're making changes now still. So if we make one today, it could be very different tomorrow at this point, and we just want to wait until they're kind of done doing all that. And then we'll be able to make a video that should stay, how it should be forever. And so right here is your nest. That's where you create the collateralized debt position. You can, after you create it, there's 2 buttons here that will say manage collateral and manage debt. And that lets you either pay or take out more debt, or you can add or subtract collateral from your position. Additionally, there's something called a stability pool, and this is where you can earn DFLR rewards. What you do here is, if you have Canary Dollars, you could have either swapped into them or borrowed them from Flare Loans, and you can stake them in the stability pool. And as people get liquidated, the liquidated collateral, some of it will go to the people staked in the stability pool. So you can think of it as a way to dollar cost average from a stable coin into the collateral that's being liquidated over time. Additionally, doing this generates you DFLR rewards that can be staked in the DFLR staking pool. There's a redemptions tab. We don't really know much about that yet. All we know is don't do it because there's some math that needs to be involved to see if the rate makes sense to actually perform this. So just avoid that for now if you're going to get involved in this once they relaunch. And then also we have liquidations here, which is interesting. So you can show all CDPs that are available, and then also one you can make it so it only shows ones that you can liquidate. But basically, we can see somebody's at 110% collateral. I actually think they've canceled any liquidations for now while they fix the platform and put in Wrap Songbird as an option for taking out a CDP. But you can see all these, and it goes from lowest collateral to highest. So with that, that's mainly what Flare Loans is. So we can step over into FlareX as well.
So can I just add in there that in the future, we're going to have multiple assets that we're going to be able to use as collateral. So right now, it's just, that's a single CDP for just Songbird. But you could think of FXRP, why Flare? You know, you could think of Spark in the future on Flare Network. You could think of Wrapped Ethereum. You could think of, you know, all the other F assets too. So there's going to be a lot of different CDPs. So it's something you get familiar with now.
All right. And then going into FlareX, this is where you can either swap between two assets via the AMM DEX, or you can also provide and remove liquidity from each individual pairing that is available. So right now, all we have is Songbird to Canary Dollar. And this is the swap page here. You can see a chart over the last 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure 15 minutes is the only time range available right now. It'll also show you history of swaps as well as your own history. So you may notice that the price here of Songbird is 36, almost 37 cents on the DEX. Right now on Bitrue, it's at 57 cents. So what's happening here? Since they decided to close down Flare Loans, they've been asking people to close out their CDPs. And that means a bunch of people have been swapping Songbird for Canary Dollars to pay it back. And the price has gone down a lot. And there's no really arbitrage route set up between Bitrue and FlareX at this time. So this is part of the risk, you know, that you're assuming when you go into this is if something goes wrong, you may be forced into swapping at a bad rate to get Canary Dollars. So you can see the difference in price is about, what, 21 cents right now. So that's a pretty large discount if you have to close that CDP. So you'd definitely be, you know, taking somewhat of a loss on what you could sell your Songbird for on Bitrue. But the reason people would have to do that is because you have to pay Canary Dollars back to the Flare loan system in order to start closing out your debt. So they even have a toggle here. You can go through different, you know, percentages that you want to swap. You can type it in. You could type it in down here for how many Canary Dollars you want to receive. They have swap SGB to canned. I could hit that and it would swap at this rate approximately. You can see the liquidity provider fee for, you know, this is like a $7 or $5 transaction is, you know, what is that? 4/100ths of a Songbird. So really low price impact on the pool because I'm swapping a small amount. And then basically this minimum one right here tells you what kind of slippage you could face. So right now it's saying I'll get $5.14 worth of Canary Dollars. However, down here it says minimum $4.88. So you could see that the possible slippage could run down to there. Normally it's between these two values when I've swapped via DEX. And then, Mickey, anything else to add to the swap page, maybe?
Yeah, so just so you know, you're doing this on a desktop right now. That chart doesn't show up on a mobile when you use it. So there's some added functionality if you use a desktop at the moment. But I hope this gives everyone an idea of that this is a built-in exchange on, right now, the Songbird Network. And that's what FlareX is. It's a DEX. It's going to have multiple pairings, and it's going to be super easy to swap. Now, yes, the price is not the same because you can't have the arbitrage, but soon they'll be the same, you know, as what is on the market. And it's a way that you're going to be able to just go between all of these assets. So there's no going back to the exchanges to swap. And I think this is really something just that is, mind blowing to people who are just so used to using centralized exchanges to do all their trading, keep their assets on a cold storage, and that's all they do. So this is a big step. But what I think is really, really the most important thing is this is the future. This is where the whole industry is going. This is where the whole market's going. Every single blockchain is building out, somebody's building multiple DeFi dApps and ecosystems and interoperability and collateral depositions and DEXs. They're going to be huge, massive. Now, you don't have any censorship. You connect here, you control everything. And the contracts, Patty, they were like blazing fast. So when you hit a transaction, it was just like, boop, done. You hit OK to the contract, confirm, and the gas fees were basically like 0.05 Songbird for most of them. But this is going to be revolutionary in where the market goes. And I want to make another point here. This is literally just one asset trading here. And these are only 2 protocols of about 6 or 7 that are going to be just within the XFi and FlareFinance ecosystem. And then within each protocol, you have all these different tabs and stuff. So it's going to be a lot to take in. And I know it's going to be overwhelming to some, but you don't have to go all in on everything and try to figure it out all at once. But we're going to be doing videos on this, and it's going to take some time for everyone to get used to it. And if it's a little over your head right now and it's a little confusing, that's okay. If it was so easy, then everyone in the world would be doing it. But it is a little difficult, but it does make sense, and it's actually much more efficient. And it's a way for you to put your assets to work to earn. And they're giving us this opportunity. Songbird launched, their observation phase was, from what I've seen, it went out without a hitch. The signal providers are all up and running. So you're going to be able to delegate, earn from the FTSO, and then also utilize your assets here. And that's something you can't do in staking networks. Staking, Cardano, you have to put your assets there. You get your big 4 or 5%. Here, you're going to be able to earn a consistent yield, and you're going to be able to put these things to work. And I just think this is something that other networks don't have. And Flare and Songbird have a huge advantage at this point right now. And Flare Finance kind of, is at the forefront of DeFi using Flare and Songbird.
Yeah, and look, at the beginning of this, I'm just trying to say what's gone wrong so far, just so people understand that it's very early. And if you're going to put your money in here, you got to accept that, bugs can happen. There's risks to doing that. I'm very excited about what they're building. And I'm looking forward to once they get the wrap Songbird built in so that we can earn while delegating, because that is like the true power of Flare. And that'll be really great. We don't have any timeline for that, so don't even, bother asking us. We have no idea. It could be, tomorrow. It could be 3 days from now. It could be 5 days from now. I'm really not sure. Just look for announcements from them. They have a Discord, so you can join in there. They have an announcements channel, and that's where I've been following for everything.
Just imagine when you could use XRP in here. Like, that's value you're going to be able to unlock. So in the meantime, play around with Songbird. You got it for free. If you have it now and received it, learn it, understand it, so that when, XRP goes up to $10, $15, you could tap into some of that value and then really build wealth and revenue streams. So this is our great opportunity for us just to do this now and get through it. And we're the founding fathers of this network. It's very rare to get in this early. So I am grateful, and I'm just so happy that, they've built us such a advanced network with all the features that we want. That's going to unlock the value of our XRP that many of us are holding, and we get now 4 airdrops. So there's a lot to be excited about.
Awesome. Yeah. And so just kind of to wrap up looking at this, and then we'll get into the back half of the video. With liquidity providing on FlareX, right now there's just one pool, and this will be the first pool to open back up when they launch Flare Farm. So with that, this would show you your LP tokens, which are denoted FLRX as a ticker symbol. Additionally, they would say how many Songbird you have in the pool right now and how many Canary dollars are in the pool, and then your pool share. And that's after you supplied. So if you do want to supply, you can come down here and I could say, let's do, I don't know if they'll let me just I wish they would have a max button in the future, but basically I can just type in what that number is and then it'll autofill the other one. So you could see if I supplied liquidity right now, it'd be 8.5 Songbird tokens and 3.2 Canary dollars, and I can hit supply liquidity. You hit the remove tab. It's there's some options to remove part of it or all of it. So that's all the stuff you'll be able to do there.
In the mobile app, there is a bar that goes across that you can go to max and do it. So the desktop's just a little different.
All right, cool. So I think that'll wrap it up on talking about XFi today. There's just more information to come out, so just be on the lookout for that, possibly over the weekend or later today. But Mickey, do you want to kind of touch on David Schwartz, the XRP Ledger Apex Summit, and what he seems to be so excited about?
Yes. So if anyone hasn't seen, David Schwartz put out a little Twitter thread. And this guy, we know David Schwartz. He was so excited and so proud. And you could just see the enthusiasm coming out of his posts. And it seemed like to go over the head of a lot of the community here. And it's just, this is probably the most important enhancements that are coming to the XRP ledger in its history. And it's going to have a profound effects. So what did he announce yesterday? And we're going to do I'm going to make a dedicated video on these whole side chains, comparing them to, other CBDC projects like Consensus that are out there. But that's coming out either later today or tomorrow. But the federated side chains they announced, and they basically put all the documentation out. It's all in GitHub. It's basically all ready to go. The amendment just has to pass. There's a couple little tweaks they need to do. Now, a federated side chain is going to be able to run, he said, an Ethereum virtual machine. So it'll be able to run any type of smart contracts on it. It could have any custom consensus to it. It could have very decentralized. It could be very centralized. It could be open. So this opens up flexibility, and it allows for things to be built on top of the XRP ledger. And what I got out of this the most is, we all heard, oh, XRP, the greatest digital asset ever. But it's not about the digital asset only. It's about the underlying infrastructure is the XRP ledger. That's the layer one infrastructure component. And it has, in this protocol, it has a DEX built into it, and it has the ability to issue currencies. But that's not going to be enough, to transform the financial system and be the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, we need applications and other modular components to be built around these blockchains. Now, Ethereum has everything sandwiched into it. Smart contracts, the execution environment is all added in. All the standards all have to be the same. What's unique about what the XRP ledger sidechains, these sidechains can be customized, flexible, private. They could have identity built into them. You could add all these custom features for just specific use cases. And this is going to be very appealing to developers, institutions, fintechs, anything to be built. And then you get to tap into the XRP ledger's DEX and all its functionalities. So you're going to be able to move XRP onto the side chains. You're going to be able to issue currencies onto the side chains. So this is really like what Codius wanted to do originally. What Ripple's vision of what Codius was is still the same. And these side chains are part of that vision to be able to create, like layer twos, which side chains kind of are, that could utilize XRP. Not everything's going to happen on the main layer one, because if you clutter the main net, then transaction speeds go down, fees go up. It's just not good. So they kept it lean, robust as possible, and secure. And now it's time to build out everything else. So we're going to see smart contracts, all types coming up, being built. And they're going to come up fast, rapidly. And then he talks about how hooks is going to add like light smart contracts to the layer one. Like that will allow for new functionalities in your wallet that escrow can't do. Like, it could tap into oracles and do all types of other things.
Also will enable connecting to layer two, like Evernote, which we know is going to be coming out.
So Evernote did a presentation there. This Apex event that they had was huge. I think they gave away a couple $1 million. They had multiple presentations, a lot of NFTs, and with Ripple investing $250 million in NFT ecosystem, they're going to be building in the amendment a full-blown NFT metadata in the background, like everything that you could do on Ethereum ERC20s, they're going to have even more functionality on the XRP ledger. And they're going to be able to have interoperability between every sidechain. So now the sidechains are going to be able to talk to each other, move assets across them, and then connect to the main XRP ledger itself. And what's at the heart of the ledger, Patty? That's, the most powerful thing built into it of everything is the DEX with an order book. So that is where we see this all going, deep liquidity. He also brought up something else that you and I have speculated, building an automated market maker functionality that could tap into the XRP ledger's DEX. And what has he always said? His future he envisions where there'll be pools of liquidity where anyone can draw off or contribute to. And that's what this is about. It's not about, all these centralized exchanges. They're great and they're needed, but if you could do everything on chain or on side chains, that's where the utility takes place. It doesn't take place, in some like traditional market derivatives. This is now utility coming. And the NFT amendment is the third one. So these three amendments, he's super excited about, and I'm just like over the hill thrilled about, because I see this affecting XRP's price and development more than anything to this date, more than CBDCs, more than RippleNet, and even ODL. I think this is going to have the most impact in the next 2 to 3 years on XRP's price. It's not going to be a flick of a switch, in my opinion. These are the things that ramp up. And you know what? It brings the community in, it brings developers in, and it builds applications. And it's going to be for everybody, not just for institutions or banks. This is going to be for everybody to use, you and me. So then we'll have DeFi on the ledger soon. So I was very excited to see that. And then what was the presentation by Matt Rosden, Patty, if you want to go through that?
Yeah, so since he's building a project that's going to be on Flare Network and on the XRP ledger as well, they've created the Solaris Bridge, which is going to be able to trustlessly issue assets from a decentralized counterparty, i.e. the Flare Network, onto the XRP ledger. So, just like we went through FlareX, which is a traditional automated market maker DEX on the Flare network, or I guess on the Songbird network right now, the DEX that's on the XRP ledger is an order book DEX. So, what we can see happening here is Trustline is going to have this ability to issue assets that are on Flare, which they'll just continue to be more assets that come to Flare in the future. They could be trustlessly issued over to the XRP ledger DEX, which is an order book model. So you have two different model DEXs. And I know David Schwartz even talked about possibly adding a automated market maker component to the DEX on the XRP ledger. But, we've seen projects that are combining the AMM and an order book together. So I feel like that's maybe the route that they would go, but it just opens up more avenues for us to trade in and options to use between Flare and XRPL going forward.
But one things that comes out of that, Patty, that David Schwartz 2 years ago proposed a XRP collateralized stablecoin. All right, everyone remember that? That is now coming to fruition through the Trustline app and the Probity Vault on Flare. They're going to be the trustless gateway and the decentralized bank, basically, that issues RA, the US dollar peg stablecoin, right onto the XRP ledger, right into your Zum wallet, and it'll be able to trade on the XRP ledger and even on the side chains. So now we have the ability to put a decentralized stablecoin at the heart of an ecosystem. Just as ExFi has the Canary Dollar, Flare Finance will have YUSD. RA is stablecoins that are decentralized are absolutely necessary for these blockchain networks to get a lot of users, development, and applications built on them. And then there's room for centralized stablecoins. Those are for fiat on and off ramps. But having that decentralized stablecoin seems to be a focus of almost every blockchain that I've looked into and the dApps they're building. Because what it does is it removes the constraints of all the monetary system, because you're just using the peg. Everything else about the stablecoin is just like XRP. It's going to act like XRP. It's going to have the same fees, except nobody's going to control its issuance. The only thing that controls issuance is those who put up collateral, and then the Probity Vault, through its DAO and its different smart contract capabilities, issues RA. And now that maintains the peg through a dynamic interest rate. Since RA is going to be utilized in more places, it has to maintain a peg in a different way than Canary Dollar and YUSD on Flare Finance. Those are just going to stay on those ecosystems, so they don't have to worry about setting up interest rates to manage pegs. Where RA is a more advanced design, and it's going to be able to be used anywhere on the XRP ledger, but it's the collateral that will be FXRP and Spark. So we're utilizing, what are we doing? Unlocking value. And now if you're trading security tokens on the ledger, say you're trading commodities, say you're trading anything else, you could now price them on the DEX to a USD pegged decentralized stablecoin, and even NFTs in the future. Instead of having to use, just XRP or like ETH on Ethereum, now we have a decentralized stablecoin that will be used in that place, but its value is locked up XRP. And this is huge going forward, because that is an absolute necessity in my opinion, because XRP is not going to be a stablecoin. It doesn't need to be. It can't be. It has to have some volatility, and it has to be able to gain value. So every time XRP's moved onto these side chains, it's locked up on the ledger. So just think of how many applications that are built on these side chains that use XRP, and how much XRP that locks away from centralized exchanges. That's what's going to drive the value here. Utility, utility, utility. And this is what they're doing. And now to compare to other blockchains. So all these other blockchains brag about their transaction speed, their smart contracts, and everything. But now these side chains can be created to do the best of whatever you need for that use case. So instead of being locked to just the Ethereum virtual machine on Ethereum, now you could create custom ones for capital markets, for tokenization, for whatever your use case is. It could be customized. And now this gives the flexibility that other blockchains don't have. And this is what Stephen Thomas said. We purposely didn't build in smart contracts and business logic to at the layer one and put it in there to add all that execution environment, all those gas and all that extra, when you could just do it outside the blockchain. And Ripple always foresaw this as the strategy for the ledger. And it's so great to see all this come true, because I've looked through Codius videos and I've been pretty vocal about Codius being the vision. Well, this is the vision of where Ripple is going. And not Ripple just, but the XRP ledger. And then inner ledger too. And, in a way, Patty, it kind of has, certain components that are a little Polkadot-like with the parachains, side chains. There's some big differences, but,
there's also Cosmos, comparison
oh, yeah,
as well,
Cosmos.
and different. It's kind of, combination of those two, because they both have their own, way of doing it. Cosmos is more like independent blockchains connecting to each other. The Polkadot model is like shared security, basically,
Yes.
of the Polkadot relay chain. So,
But what's nice here is XRP is still going to be the native core asset, the only decentralized issued cryptocurrency in this whole big ecosystem that develops. So it's never going to get replaced. And now with these CBDC private side chains, Ripple's able to now offer basically a tech stack that Consensus and Ethereum can't. Their pilots are going to all try to stuff everything in a private Ethereum blockchain like Base2 or Quorum, all in layer one. And what does that mean? They're going to try to make everybody adopt the same standard. And not every bank's going to want to adopt Ethereum, but they might want smart contracts. So Ripple has opened the flexibility here. And you know what else they got, Patty? The privacy. So those transactions on the sidechain, could remain private for these central banks. And I think this is really where they're going with everything. And it's something the competition really can't offer. So before saying too much, there is a massive battle brewing behind the scenes between Consensus and Ripple. And it's not just all the things DAI pointed out. I found some pretty disturbing attempts by Consensus to basically go right after Ripple's intended use case with their business model and their partners. So I will be doing a video on that, and it really does. I do believe DAI Consensus is shady. Let's put it that way. It's just, how can you? They're basically in a lawsuit right now, Ripple, fighting for their lives. Getting XRP is basically stalled in the US. Basically, the whole regulators government, nobody will touch it because they're saying it's a security. Meanwhile, all these CBDCs now popping up. And what is it all about? Cross borders, interoperability, liquidity, and now XRP's being stalled. And Consensus is literally doing pilots trying to use different ways to replace XRP to do cross-border CBDC transfers. And I'm going to go into that. I got some great information, and it's actually poorly done. So the pilot that they did had some major flaws that they just can't overcome. And Ripple, I think, does have the solution, but I think in the end, Patty, 3 years at least for CBDCs to go live. So if you see these pilots out there, if you see this one's going to adopt this, you know, it's not that, oh my God, they're not going to use XRP. We're years away from this, and nobody's going to get 100% share of the market. We just need XRP used, and we need more utility, we need more applications, and we need more development on Ledger. And that's happening now. And that's what I've been saying for so long, and I'm so happy to see that. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, I think that was a nice little talk to listen to, and I'm definitely going to look forward to. I think this may be your first video you've done without me coming on in a while coming up, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm going to go through Consensus, and you're going to see exactly what they are doing, and it might disturb you a little. So
it's
be
disturbing,
prepared. It's
to be
disturbing.
Honest. Just because everything
saying?
else we know about all the shadiness with the lawsuit, and then Consensus partnering with somebody else, are, you know, Ripple has had some spats with in the past. Yeah.
And I will go into exactly what they're trying to utilize in place of XRP, this thing called mBridge, and I'll explain to you why it's just never going to be successful, and why XRP is still going to be the key thing that differentiates what Ripple has built. And also Ethereum, they're trying to make Ethereum the standard in the world. That's really what I got out of it. They just want everybody to just adopt Ethereum, private or whatever, and then put everyone on the same blockchain. So that falls in line with DAI's been saying. They got the free pass. Now they want just everyone to use Ethereum-based stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of like, it's funny, they're kind of like the opposite of Ripple, because I mean, Ripple came out, you know, they had Codius doing stuff off chain, ILP with Stefan Thomas, you know, that's all coming from that chain, and that's kind of stuff now that people are talking about. Interoperability, DEXs, you know, that stuff was going on with Ripple and the XRP ledger for a long time now. So they've just had a very, I mean, whether it's self-caused or not, you know, just a very unlucky road with regulators and stuff.
But I think it's going to turn out to be, in the end, the best, because all these blockchains have stuffed all these applications, these execution environments, these smart contracts, all into the blockchain, and just, yeah, they've gotten adoption and everyone's building there. But you know what? This is a marathon, and better smart contract and dApps are going to come out that people want privacy and other things for. And Ripple's going to be able to build all this for the financial institutions. So they'll be able to compete with all the hyperledgers, the R3s, do everything that they do, and still have the public XRP ledger. So even though it might sound like, oh, XRP's behind, all these other blockchains are coming out, the blockchains are just the infrastructure. They're not the whole thing. And I personally don't even think that CBDCs are going to be built on just blockchain's layer one. I think they're going to need a whole tech stack, and they only need a part of the actual underlying ledger. Like Ripple's private ledgers, they just use the XRP liquidity when it's needed, but it's a custom private chain. You can't use blockchains to scale to do hundreds of thousands of transactions a second. No matter what, if you're Solana or not, nobody's building on a layer one ever. It's all going to go to layer two, layer three, and other types of modular components. The blockchain is just one piece here. And I think we look at blockchains and we're like, oh, that one's going to be the winner. They have everything. No, they don't have everything. It's what you build around that blockchain. And then how do you tap into its best functionality? And that's XRP, its speed, its ability to issue assets, and the DEX. So that's something that, you know, is really going to be exciting, because we all now have got airdrop mania with Zum. Now we got airdrop mania with Flare and Songbird. So I think, as an XRP holder going through a lawsuit, I think we got it pretty good going forward. It could be worse. And I know some people are so focused on price and so focused on these cycles. I don't care about the cycles. I'm looking at the development here.
All right. Well, Mickey was gonna gonna finish that up. I'll give him 1 sec to see if he comes back on. But as far as wrapping this up, I just want to add a note that there's about 1 day left of earning for the first reward epoch for the FTSO. It looks like I chose Scandi Nodes and Aureus Aux the first time around, and they both have been, I think, top 5 or top 6 the whole time. And that's looking like it will equate to a 3% APY for me in the first week. So I just want to bring that up for anybody that maybe hasn't started delegating yet or trying to decide. I certainly don't think you'll get 3% every week, but even if you got 0.5% or a single percent on a weekly basis, that would be really great. And then over the long haul, it'll go down, especially on Flare. We'll see how serious people take Songbird in the long term. I think that's something that's still up in the air, but very exciting. I'm loving how the FTSO is going so far. If you check out those prices on flaremetrics.io, they're pretty close to what I see for most global averages from any apps that I'm using. But here's Mickey coming back on. I'll see if he wants to wrap up. Mickey, you want to finish your thoughts there?
Yeah, I just want to finish off that market cycles and all that stuff. I don't really pay attention to that too much. I'm looking at not the fundamentals, where's the development and the utility. Where's the utility? We talk about that. Well, it's happening. And now we need to find it and see where is it going to be built. Polkadot's coming out. I think it's huge. So I think there's just so much going on right now in this space that it's just like the best time of all of crypto. 2018 never had this. And I think that, if you have the time, put in the effort to learn what's going on out there, understand how DeFi works. Stop getting feared out by Gary Gensler that he's going to stop everything. He's not stopping anything. He's just delaying things for Ripple. But DeFi, everything's happening. Just be careful of getting fear-mongered by some of these regulations. And next video, we'll also talk about identity, because global identity partner with Zum. So that's something that I saw coming, and I think it's going to be very impactful in the future for XRP specifically. And I think that's about it. And we'll keep you updated on all this XI stuff. So
yeah, just like I'd say be patient. If you're not trying to get in right off the bat on XFi, like there's no reason to, get any FOMO if you're like you're missing out over a couple of days. It's definitely more difficult right at the beginning because there's lower liquidity and the market's more volatile. The Songbird price, I guess, has been not terrible the last day, but it's still very early in the day for that, or I guess Songbird's life. So we'll see how that goes. But very exciting with everything so far. And we'll have a new reward epoch starting tomorrow.
Oh, see, there we go. And we got to claim rewards tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Don't forget to claim your rewards tomorrow and wrap those if you want to keep delegating them.
And I just want to say something about going on with the exchanges not distributing the tokens. Bitstamp's going to release it. They just said so. But I've seen some people saying class action lawsuits. Like that's not going to happen. Like, yeah. We just need to keep urging them. They've all agreed to release Spark. I've heard a couple of YouTubers and people say, oh, same thing's going to happen with Spark. No, like a huge no. And there's a reason why. They contractually agreed with Flare to distribute these tokens. They all said it publicly. They never agreed to distribute Songbird. They didn't even know about it. It's a canary test network to them. So, yes, they should distribute it to you, and they probably will. But it's possible you'll get it when you get Spark. That's possible. So I don't think they're going to just hold it forever. If you don't get it soon, you're going to get it when they release it Spark. So drop this whole class action lawsuit thing over Canary Network. They're not breaking any contracts. And I know you're frustrated, but that's not the right way to go about this. All right. And, we're getting another airdrop too on November 5th for your Songbird holdings. So if they're still holding your Songbird, then XFi tokens are going to get dropped to them in the same exact wallet. So it's possible you'll get everything at once with Spark. But if you do get your Songbird released to you before November 5th, don't even think about leaving it on an exchange and expecting to claim it. So I hope that everyone learned their lesson from that. And this is not Flare's fault. This is not them to blame. It's not anything they really could have did about this. We were promised one airdrop, one network, one token, and one support. These are all just cherries on top and additional. So keep pressuring them, but there's no one to blame from Flare. There's no class action lawsuits. Unless they literally are using your tokens They're not contractually obligated to give them to you. All right, just expect it to come with Spark. If they don't give it to you, then we could really make a really big stink and see if Flare
I'm
says
sure
something.
Flare will too,
Yeah,
because they have those agreements lined up. So
because the
they won't be
agreements
very
was
happy.
distribute Flare when it launches. That's the agreements the exchanges are on. So they might just say, okay, well, we'll distribute everything when Flare goes live. And it's unfortunate, but this is a canary network. It's just the test network with value. It's something we're not supposed to get, and half the community complained about the delay. So this has went off actually beautifully. And it's so good the way they designed this. And people, might get frustrated that it delayed and stuff. But I think, from my opinion and our research, Patty, that this is going in the right direction and it looks to be very successful. But it's up to us as a community now to step up and understand this is your network. You're going to have to participate and you're going to have to share the knowledge with other people. Flare is not going to come out there, hyping, being the steward of the network. They're not going to do any of that stuff. So it's up to us, community effort. They built it. It's done. It's decentralized. Now it's ours. That's what we own. Protocols in decentralized networks. We don't own startups and their products. I think it's just important to understand that as a mindset, and then you'll look at things differently. Because a lot of people just assume, things are like Flares. They're not. They're ours. This is our network, and we should take pride in the fact that we're getting it first, and we're the governance, and we're able to earn network rewards from it. And nothing Gary Gensler could do to stop that.
All right. So with that, we'll wrap it up. This is the DeFi Standard. I'm Patty XRP.
And I'm Mickey Bifrost.
And we're out. See y'all.